Fiorella is a dancer and a psychologist based in the Netherlands. Fiorella champions bringing together the body and mind to help others improve their well-being and their connection with themselves. She is also a bachata roll rotation instructor and founder of the Dream Life Method. Welcome, Fiorella.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
I'm so happy to have you here today.
Me too.
Fiorella, do you want to start us off? What drew you into dancing?
Yes, of course. Well, I started one day with some salsa lessons, and I really liked it. It was totally new to me. I always love to dance at birthday parties and, like in the club, but I would go to techno or house parties with my friends here in Amsterdam. So there was never really a lot of dancing, like proper dancing involved. And then one day I just thought, okay, let's try it out. I did a salsa class and I loved it. But it didn't really, I don't know, I didn't have any friends that were into partner dancing or so it didn't really like it didn't really stick, no? So
Mm.
then I moved to Spain, and even there the first 2 years I was not so much into dancing until I saw this video of Daniel and Desiree dancing bachata, and I was just like, wow, this is amazing, this is beautiful. And I knew I loved salsa, so I thought, let's try it out.
Mm.
That's how I got into bachata. I loved it from the first like class onwards, and I continued, but I was quite late. Like I was 24 when I started with all of this, and I found out about this whole new world.
I mean, that's one of the beautiful things of dancing, though. I don't think there is a too late or a late. It's just when you found it in life.
True, true. No, you're right. You're right. It's never too late. And also
Mm-mm.
sometimes I feel like, oh, I could have like, I don't know, like practiced so many more years if I started earlier. But I had this whole other life dancing to techno before, and then
Yeah. Yeah,
so
I know what you mean, though. I think back and think, oh gosh, I could have been dancing since my teens or something, but
yes, yeah,
that
I could
that
have
wasn't the way
like
life went.
yeah, no, exactly. So I'm very glad and grateful that I found out with 24 about
Mm,
about bachata. Yeah.
yes, for sure. So bachata was like that light bulb moment for you. Love at
Definitely.
first dance.
Love at first dance. Yeah, for me, it also
Hmm.
helped me greatly with not being like all day in my head because back at that time I was also well trying to manage my life and there were so many different things and I had to make a lot of big decisions and I was in a job that was asking a lot of my attention and energy and then when I stepped onto the dance floor I was able to clear my head, so I was able to connect to myself and then connect to this other person without actually having to verbalize
Yes.
the way I felt or the way
Hmm.
my day went. So I
Yeah.
think these two things. So for me to get out of my head, to just be present with my body and then to connect with other people in that way was just jackpot. Yeah.
Magic.
Yeah, magic. Really magic. I loved it and I still
Yeah.
do. This is like the most special thing for me that I can feel so close to myself and so close to the other person without actually talking.
Mm. At what point did you start to actively bring in your professional side of life and psychology into dancing? Because it sounds like it was kind of happening subconsciously for a while.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I think subconsciously I was bringing my own knowledge and the theories that I knew already into my own dancing. So I was analyzing why I was feeling so good when dancing because I could literally like close my eyes and forget about time, about my problems, about my challenges, right? So I was very aware of that myself.
Hmm.
And but I think it was only until later when I started teaching that I also tried to like amplify that, I guess, and to bring also exercises into play where we could also work on psychological things together with other people, right? So first it was just me, or I was using dancing for myself to get out of my head,
Yeah.
to be present, to be in my body. And then only later when I started teaching, I started thinking of, okay, how can what can I now with the knowledge that I have and with the things that I've seen in the past, or from what I know that works, what can I actually bring into the classroom, and how can I help other people to have the same effect, or maybe some of the same results that I had. Yeah.
Cool. So what do you think are some of those missing links that we have at the moment in our modern lives that are kind of disassociating our mind and body connection?
We're so used to talking about, well, no, first of all, there are people who close, they're pretty closed off,
Hmm.
and this can be because of many different reasons. Why, right? I think it starts with you having parents that teach you that it is important to live through emotions, for example. And if you're like facing a difficult situation or a challenge, that it is good to spend time feeling what there is to feel, and then discussing that with other people, and spending time and being present with that feeling, and whatever it is that is going on. And there are some parents who teach their children this, and that is lovely. That's the best thing. And also, I know from experience in my own life, but also from all the clients that I talk to in my day-to-day sessions, I know that a lot of people are not taught what to do when difficult things happen, or when they're faced with difficult challenges. So that, first of all, not connecting to that
Yeah.
is already a big challenge for a lot of people. So they tend to be here in their head, right? Because if they go lower and they actually connect with their body, then there are a lot of feelings that are stored in the body that you feel in this area, and it might be scary to go there, right? So a lot of people stay in the head, and they think a lot about the things that are going on, or they overthink the things that they
Hmm.
did, or maybe future situations. So I think a lot of us are just walking heads, I say sometimes, like
Okay.
they spend all of their time in their heads, or the majority of their time. And if you want to dance, and if you do that regularly, you're forced to be more present in your body. You can try to stay in your head, and I know some of us still go there and make that switch, but if you want to progress, you need to be more present, and to actually analyze your body. How is it feeling? If I move this way, like, does it help me or not? So by dancing and doing that more and more, I think it naturally helps you to break a bit of that barrier that we
Hmm.
generally have, or that we tend to have, between the head, the mind, and the body. So
Mm.
that is what I think is so beautiful about dancing, because it can help a lot of people to break that, and to find this other angle of seeing or feeling things. And then if you want to take it to the next level, I think it is nice to be more aware of these processes, because even for me in the beginning, I knew that I was more present in my body, but still I didn't like take all of it that there was to explore, so because
Yeah.
we can also greatly use the body to help ourselves in these processes, to work through things, for example. But that is like the next level. But I think
Okay.
already by being present and being in your body while dancing, and being like um mindful of what it is that you're doing, that already helps, because you're feeling more than the people that don't dance, and that are more stuck in their head.
Okay. So as a first step, for those of us listening who are haven't actively thought about this before, just that mindfulness of being aware of what you're doing with your body. Do you think that's a good first step?
That's a perfect first step. Yes.
Okay.
All of the practices of mindfulness or yoga or meditation, it's all about being present. Because if you're more present in this moment, you're more like, you're able to connect more to what it is that is going on, and then you can make a decision. And we
Mm.
tend to dwell in the past. We think about things that happened yesterday, the things that we have said that we wanted to, I don't know, we could have done differently, or but we
Yeah.
can never change the past anymore. And the same is for the future, right? So you can spend your whole day thinking about how you want to do a certain conversation, or what to do if that person would say this and this and this, but it doesn't, like, all of the energy you spend on either the past or the future is like a waste of energy. So by being and practicing to be more present, we find stillness or calmness, or like a more relaxed feeling. And I think this is a very good first step. Yeah,
Mm.
definitely. To
Cool.
feel better, and to also take on challenges more and to analyze like, hey, okay, what does that, how does that make me feel? And what do I want with that? And then you can take the next step and actually move forward into the direction that you want to go.
Okay, so those are the questions we should be asking. How does that make me feel? How does this dance make me feel and why?
If you want to take it to the next level, yes, you
Okay,
could
that's more
actually.
next level. Okay.
Yeah, I think it already helps to just be in your body and present in that moment, because if you really connect with your body, then you're not so much, I hope, for for most people, if you connect more with your body, you're not thinking about the past or the future, because then you're dancing. And when
Yes.
you're dancing, you're there in that moment and you connect. And that is also this peace of mind, I think, that many people experience when they dance, that they just have so much fun that they are like, they, I don't know, without noticing, like 5 hours pass, or they feel
Yes.
like they're on this like cloud, because they're so present. So
Yeah.
that is the most beautiful thing, and that is very comforting and very, that gives us this feeling of relax, and we can leave our worries and our stress like outside of the dance floor.
Yes. Yeah, people often talk about it as a way to unwind from work, to
Yeah.
separate from their busy life, even though it's
Yes.
a physical, active, very sweaty experience, it's that change. And
Yeah.
you're right, the biggest change is the physicality of it.
Yeah, and to be present with that moment, and the only thing that is important is you being in that exact spot, dancing to that one song with that one person. And that is why people forget about everything else, because they're there, and
Mm.
that works really well.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you feel stressed, definitely dancing is a very, can be a very good remedy, like a very good solution to leave your worries in a different place and to just be present for a few hours. Yeah.
Yeah. So, Fiorella, you are now bringing your own slice of this mindfulness to other dances as well with emotion in motion. Could you tell us a little bit about emotion in motion? What is it?
Of course. So emotion is a project that I set up, which is actually my like my dream project. So I always, so I'm a trained psychologist. I studied how to be a psychologist, and I love helping people. And I think talking about feelings and everything is very important. But just as I just mentioned, the body offers us such a nice way, or an extra, is like an extra tool to approach the things that we're faced with from a different angle. And since dancing has helped me greatly in dealing with things and to grow as a person, I always thought, you know what, I want to combine psychology with dancing and movement more, because I think it's the the most valuable like connection we can make if we want to grow as a person and to learn about ourselves. And so I took this like, hey, let's use this cognitive part of me being a psychologist and talking and knowing all of these like strategies and the theories of what works well, and then also approaching it from a bodily angle where we use movement without words to identify emotions, to work through them, to work on grounding, to work on creativity. So I combined these two, and that is what became Emotion in Motion. It's a project that I've so far just held live here in Amsterdam with a group of people, and I'm so grateful for how it went, because it was also for me to try out, right? Like, okay, how do I want to do this exactly? And are people even open to this? And how far
Hmm.
do they want to go? Because it's not, I want to make sure that they learn something about themselves and that they get resources to support themselves. But it's not, of course, like a year of psychological support and therapy. So finding this sweet spot is, I think it worked really well, and I got to make an impact together with them, without going maybe too far with it. But
Mm.
let's see where the future takes us. For now, this was a lovely project. It was 5 classes where we worked on different things, and every class was using the body and movement as a starting point to work on psychological concepts. So
Hmm.
we worked on feeling more confident, on letting go whatever it is that we don't need, to work through emotions, to allocate where they are, what you can do if you feel anxious, for example, but not what you can think or how you can cognitively support yourself, because there are many
Hmm.
strategies as well to do it with writing down your thoughts, which is of great help. But I wanted to approach it from this bodily angle.
From
So
this,
in
yeah.
class, exactly. So in class, we would do exercises with the body. They had to do it alone or together. And then I would give them homework, which was more of the cognitive part, so that within their own time, they could keep on doing the bodily exercises, but also had some additional resources to work on the subject that we touched in class. So
Wow.
it's, yeah, it was really special. Also
It
for me,
sounds special.
yeah, to see what happened in class and what they got out of the exercises and how like the impact it had on their days is I don't know, it makes me so happy that I get to do these things and that there are people who want to do it with me. I feel very grateful for that.
That special is the only word that comes to mind because that's what this kind of experience sounds like. How wonderful.
Very, very special. And so this is something I want to continue doing here live in Amsterdam or in the Netherlands, and later on also, and maybe more of a kind of retreat kind of style. But I also started doing it in single classes on congresses. So I
Oh,
had in
lovely.
summer, yeah, so that's really cool. So in summer I had the first one on Terra Libre, and I will do two more now in October in Germany and Belgium, where we do a part of this course
Hmm.
in one class on a congress
Yeah,
to just offer something else. And I think it's really, really cool to see how that will go also, and how if I can expand that with everyone. So
for
yeah,
sure. Because in a congress, we spend a lot of time taking in new information. There's a lot
yeah,
of input, 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 output, output, output. But having a space where it's me connecting with myself, that's a wonderful thing to bring into a congress.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can spend the whole, like, of course you can go to a lot of workshops and to learn combinations and figures, but I think it could be of great help if we maybe take 1 hour to tune in more with, okay, how can we connect more to ourselves, and how can I foster and feel more confident, for example, when doing all of these combinations later on in the social, or
Hmm.
what do I do when I feel maybe rejected on the dance floor? How can I deal with that? What can I do with my body to connect again to myself and to the other person, to still have a, I don't know, like a nice night, for example.
Yes. Yeah, completely. Have you got plans for another project coming up?
Of emotion in motion.
Yes.
No dates yet,
Uh-huh.
but many people have been asking me. So I think after summer, yeah, I
Wonderful.
and I will do it also. So, and then in October, there are two congresses. It's also on my Instagram, where I will be doing the 1 hour workshops of
Hmm.
emotion in motion. So that is a maybe nice way to try out for people that are interested.
Yes, definitely. So you're impacting people with emotion in motion now, and that's starting to grow and take shape and become its beautiful being that it is and will continue to be, which is really cool. And you're also bringing in, as I mentioned at the beginning, the Dream Life method,
Yeah.
which is another project. I don't know how you have the time for all these things, but
I also don't know sometimes.
but the Dream Life method, it's grown from your own experiences of how you've lived your life and how you've improved what you have around you and doing what you want to do.
Exactly. So that was my motivation to set this up, because I was just thinking about, okay, what are the people that I like helping most? What kind of questions do they have? What are the challenges that they're facing? And
Hmm.
I found out that these people are very much like me, but just a few years ago. And a few years ago, so I started dancing and I found out that I loved it. And sometimes, like, one of the insecurities I had was, and that I can still sometimes have, is, no, I started too late. I lack technique. I wish I could have like spent more years becoming a better dancer, for example. And
Hmm.
And then at a certain moment, I just thought, okay, but what is it actually that brings me the most joy? And what is it that I want to do? And I thought, you know what? I want the dancing to be a bigger part of my life and still keep that psychology as well. And then I started like going for this, and I call it my dream life, and start to find a way to actually make that work. And I was working back at the day, I was working for a company, and I was all right, and I was like teaching in like after work or in the weekends. And at a certain moment I just thought, you know what, this is not my ideal. I want to like really do a 50-50. And I quit my job and I just went for it. And it was scary. It was
Uh-huh.
scary. I didn't know where it was gonna go. And
Yeah.
yes, I started late with dancing and the psychology online. Is that even a smart idea? But I truly think and believe that if you know what it is that you want, that there's enough motivation to make it work, because then you will just attract the projects or the jobs or the people that you actually want to attract, because that is what you want to do.
Yeah.
I did that for myself, and it had a big effect on how happy I was with my life, because I was actually doing then what I wanted to, instead of thinking, oh no, that is not for me, or I'm not good enough, or this
Hmm.
can never work. And I thought, if I can do it for myself, but I wish for so many other people to live the same and to also believe in that they can make their dream life happen. So I
Yeah.
started this year with that project as well. And I help other people now in identifying like how they can make it work. And so we look at, okay, what is your dream life? And then we take action to actually make that happen. And that is a super rewarding thing to do, because I enter in this flow and energy with the other person, and then we just go for it. And that's really cool.
And that's amazing, because how many of us are continuing to do something because that's what we've always done, but that's what we're trained in, but it's
Yeah.
not where our hearts lie.
Yeah.
And
Or
it's mm,
no, sorry. Yeah, no, it's and also a bit what we learn in society, maybe even, right? Like, oh no, like yeah, but if you work in your passion, then that's great, but that's not for everyone, right? So a
mhm,
job should just pay the bills, and maybe you can work on your passion projects in your own time or in the weekends, which is true. But I think we don't have to use that as a limitation. If you want to spend your like 50% of your time on dancing and earning money with that, you can make it happen. And
mhm.
I don't know if the road will be long or short or whatever obstacles there will be, but you will see when you get there.
Yeah.
So I truly believe that we can do that. And if you want, then you can create that life for yourself. So that's why I started this.
Brilliant. And I hope you continue to go on and keep inspiring people to take up that space and to live the life they want to live rather than dream about tomorrow. Because as you've said, wasting energy on tomorrow, it is just wasted energy.
Oh, beautiful. Yeah, if you think about tomorrow because you're dreaming, but then if it's just dreaming, it's wasted energy. If you take a step to actually go into that direction, you might just make it.
Yes.
And that's the beautiful thing. So
Every
just
step
take a step.
counts.
Every step counts. And
Mm.
I always say, like, you should do the thing. So not thinking about the thing or planning to do the thing. No, actually doing the thing will get you closer to your dreams.
Fiorella, what an inspiring note to end us on, to go and take a hold of the tomorrow we want to have and to want to take up that space and to go for it, do it. And I mean that applies in life, in work, in dancing. It applies everywhere.
Everywhere.
Thank you so much for talking to us about emotion in motion, your journey through dancing and connecting the body and mind in the various ways you've gone through. You've given us so many good tips as well to take forwards to the dance floor, to our next conversation with the neighbor. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It was really lovely. Thank you so much.
Thank you for listening to the Empowered Dancers podcast. If there's an aspect of the dancing you would like to hear about, or a particular teacher you would like to hear from, drop me a message and I will try to make it happen. Make sure you subscribe to get every episode as it comes out. Thank you so much for the comments and questions you are already sharing. I really, really appreciate it, and I look forward to serving you in next week's episode.